Hello everyone. My name is Tyrannosaurus Imperio. I am a T-Rex VTuber. Hope you're all having a good day today. And we are back with another art animation stream. It's been a while since I've done one of these. But yep, it's good to see you all here. So for a few things first, thank you for following Dawn. I appreciate the support. I see you in chat. My first Tyranno stream. I hope you have a good time here. And also howdy, I see you in chat also just now. Also fancy Flugel. Nothing to see here. Alright. Good to see you here too. And let's see. Hey Dino, hello Last Flood. Hello Kaito friend. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day today. And thank you to everyone else who's stopping by. I hope you all have a good time here. With this small sassy dino, well, let's place. It is I, Tyranno Imperial, the T-Rex VTuber. Well, a T-Rex VTuber because there's quite a few of us. But I am the one that is currently in front of your screen. My day's doing pretty good. That's good here. Last Flood. Also, just want to say something a little bit sad. I just realized. I realized earlier that for some reason my Discord reaction image wasn't working, so it turns out there's a new version, so I switched to that, but apparently now it no longer does the little kind of hoppy thing whenever I talk, which is, it's a little bit sad. I kind of missed that tiny detail, but I don't mind it too much. Well, I mean, I kind of do. There's a nice little charm to it, but it doesn't distract me exactly. Alright, so let's see what else. I have come at last. The steak has descended. Nice to finally be here. It's nice to see you, steak. Welcome to the stream. Hope you are having a good day today. So my name is the Last Flood Hunter because I'm the only one. Ah, I see. So I guess none of the other kaiju are going around hunting in floods, it seems. And thank you, Steak, for the follow. I guess I should probably get into the animation, I guess. So, for those of you who haven't been around during my last few, well, some of my last animation streams, here's kind of what I have so far. I also have this layer down here, and I'm kind of animating over, kind of not. It's kind of like a reference. And it's a tiny bit rough. Hold on. Let me switch to this one in opacity because I don't think anyone can really see it. There we go. So here's what I got so far. It kind of just randomly changes body shape. I'm in between this animation, and I want to change that with this layer over here. Make it a more, I guess, actual looking. I do feel like it's probably mainly Krita, but I like how fluid it's looking so far. The name goes back real far. I'll be interested to know about your lore then, Last Flood. Follow my friends, stay with the pack. I'm a quietly lurk, watching a movie. Alright, well, I appreciate the lurk, Flood, and if you are still watching, I hope you have a good time still, and we have a good rest of your day. Okay. Okay, I'll keep this one. Lower the opacity again. Put this one back in. And let's get started. First, I did say I wanted to make it look a little more clean than the other ones, so I think I have to redo the heads for some of these frames. They have changed it from what their first frame looked. Yeah, I think I'll do that. kind of, where is it? I gotta try and do this without messing up too much of the actual frames themselves, like the actual rest of the body. Okay. Here's my usual brush size. And let's see if my stylus is working today. Okay, it is working. It's actually working for one. That is nice. Hold on, let's see what. Okay. Original frame. Small little nub here. Okay. I'll do this. Alright. How does it look? It's not quite the same, but it's closer than what we had before, at least. Oh, the name was originally for another OC, Master Sarge, and it's the Flood from Halo. It's kept the name. I see. And hold on, words. Thank you to the one and only Jace for following. I appreciate the support. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day today. And I see the emote there in chat. We need the derp. I forgot what I was gonna say just now, but alright, I do. I need to think how to word this. Think of that. We need the dino to have a little bit of derp to it. They get a little bit of his charm. The derp is forever. The eternal derp is what we shall call him. Oh, hi, hello, Kate. Hello, Kate. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. Thank you for stopping by. It is good to see you. And I'm pretty sure you've been here to some of my animation streams, so not too much has changed since last time. Just working on revising some of the frames we already have, and then eventually we can move on to something else if the stylus will continue to work. Long live the eternal derp piece. And also welcome to the stream, Real Human. It's good to see you here, and I hope you're having a good day today. I'm excited to hear about dinos. Well, as always, I'm more than ready to talk about dinos with anyone in chat if you guys have questions about dinos. And I shall do my best to answer them. Now, to be fair, though, I don't know absolutely everything about dinos. I'd say I'm actually, compared to most other paleo nerds out there, I might kind of just be scratching at the tip of the iceberg. So I may not be able to give the best information to some questions, but I shall do the best I can. I would like to kind of delve further into some paleontology knowledge, particularly, especially since I'm trying to better drawing dinos. Anatomy would be important to go further into. Plus, it's actually one of the main ways people can differentiate certain genuses of dinosaur. Otherwise, a lot of the dinos we know today would kind of just be slammed into each other into like a few genuses. I'm not good at wording it, but actually we have a lot less official types of dino. Actually, speaking of dinos, this one I'm doing here, it is a compsognathid, which is actually the type of dino that I'm working on for this full week for my Dino Facts series that I like to do on Twitter. That's gonna be nice. Fun fact about compsognathids, I think the original species Compsognathus itself, or as some like to call it, the type species, which is it's basically the species that kind of starts a group. It's safe as far as I know, but other Compsognathids, aka what we think are its relatives, some people are thinking now they might actually be babies of Carcharodontosaurids. I mean, there's always a bit of, I guess, out in some of these kinds of theories, but I think this one does have a pretty good amount of proof for it. I still kind of want to hope it's wrong though, because I am what in the paleo community calls a splitter. Then I prefer there's more dinos, it's less of them. The other ones that people like to call themselves are, I don't remember what it's called. I think it's lumpers. So basically they just lump two different kinds of dinos into one because they don't think there's enough differences to make them different genuses from each other. I'm sorry, but I'm not really the best at explaining this kind of stuff. Anyone could probably tell by now I'm not the best with words, but I am trying. Lord knows though that I probably wouldn't exactly be the best teacher. Actually, at one point I actually considered becoming a history teacher, just because I did fairly decently history classes back in high school and middle school. Nowadays I don't think I would actually be very good at that. Because if I can't say one thing, so I've seen a few cases where people reach out to me and say that they're thankful that I make Dino Facts and that they generally do learn quite a bit from them, so I mean, I'm bad at wording things again, but I'm thankful to hear that a lot. And I'm glad I can help people learn a bit. I would say that I probably need to start working a bit more on, I guess, shortening the information, I guess. Because back in the old days, I would only need one tweet for a Dino Fact, but nowadays, like, I feel like I might get a little bit overboard and get to the point it's pretty much always needing two Dino. I need usually like 2 tweets, not bring out the whole Dino Fact. I guess you can also chalk that to just Twitter's character limit. That back when I was limiting myself to just 1 tweet. Twitter's character limit has always been the bane of my existence. Alright, back to working again, I think. First, let me just check the heads again, make sure they're alright. closer to the original at least. I think I'll take it off. So now we can move on to, I guess, some newer frames. Alright. Huh? Gotta get my brush working again. Well, my stylus working. This does happen quite a bit sometimes with animation streams. Alright, hold on, gotta do that again. Alright. Maybe I should do a paleo art stream at some point. Like just... I mean, I try to think of how to word it. Like, I like doing this animation, but I am also considering just, like, doing one stream to just draw one singular dino and... I guess do something similar to, like the art pieces that I use for my dino facts, just make something like that. Because I've done a few art streams in the past where I drew other dino VTubers in their dino forms. I think I might want to do something like that again. Part of me wants to do something for the Hell Creek Formation, because that is where us T-Rexes came from, for the most part, but there are a lot of T-Rex VTubers out there, actually. Plus Triceratops VTubers too, so I feel like that'd be a pretty big project to do as I am now. So maybe I'll try something else a bit smaller for now. Oh, hello Alpha Screen, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day today. Thank you for stopping by. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day today. Thank you for stopping by, and it's good to see you here. There we go. The dino has mastered wording again. Alright. Here, I want to redo this hand. I don't think it looks quite right. Do this. Yeah, this looks. Still a bit iffy. Use this. It looks a little closer to being pronated again. I guess they're getting a reference, maybe, to see how the hands should look. Alright, I think I'll do that actually. Look up prehistoric kingdom models. If you don't know, that Prehistoric Kingdom is an indie dinosaur game that's supposed to be a park builder similar to Jurassic World, Evolution, I guess the two Tycoon games too. And they have just bad words, but they have some of the most amazing looking dinosaur models I've ever seen for games, movies, just anything really. And you should probably go check it out if you do wish to. I know that when it fully releases at some point, I do want to try streaming it. I know they have a feathered T-Rex skin, so as a feathered T-Rex myself, I want to have a big exhibit for those guys. I heard they were also gonna have more skins for feathered T-Rexes, but I think most of them were cut, unfortunately. Yep, and I see Last Flood Hunters emotes in chat. I'm not quite sure what those are supposed to be, but they're cute. I think it's someone dressed up as a red panda? I don't know. Dino might be blind. Alright, let's see. There's some more? I don't see anything with a really good, I guess, perspective that matches what I need right now. There's some shots of the T-Rex's arms, but I don't think they're quite the best for what I need here. Let's see. Alright. I guess this one of Allosaurus will have to do. So again, this one is from Prehistoric Kingdom, credit goes to them, and also Marizo Morisan, I messed up that name definitely, but they're the ones who made this model. And also Cindy Rago for the texture and the sculpt. So here's the whole thing. And now we'll just kind of be looking at this as a reference. It's a tiny bit cut off, but it should do. Let's see. Okay, here's the right layer. I'm gonna mess things up. Alright. 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 I think I got a good idea of what to do. And hopefully my stylus will let me do it. Alright. Careful. Okay, that finger might be a bit too long. Let's see. Okay. I want to revise this one a bit. Let's start with the middle finger, actually. And put the claw. Okay. The middle finger and back finger next. Then this one will be maybe I should have done that one first since it's supposed to be in front of the... we're not sure. Let me look at this again. Alright. Maybe I should be looking at an Allosaurus model because I'm not entirely ssure what a Compsognathus's hands are supposed to be like. I think it'll be a general reference for how theropod hands are supposed to look like. I think the fingers are a little splayed out here, actually. Okay. Think about this. Alright. Okay, not the best, but I think I'm spending a bit too much time with this. Okay, I'll just work with this and, I guess, just move on from here, because I don't want to spend too much time working on just the arms. I will have to probably, I guess, clean up a bit, after, like, once I'm done with all these. Here we go. Now for the legs. Okay, so I want to make them skinnier again, kind of like what we had for the base one. I'll do that. There we go. Get my stylus working again. Okay. There we go. Connect this bit here. And now we need to do this leg over here. Nope. Stylus seems to still be messing up a tiny bit. Hold on. There we go. And now for the toesies. Go. And a little wrinkles here just for extra detail. I don't know if everyone else really does this, but it's just something I kind of like to do. Alright, now for the toes over here. Alright, brush, get to work. Please continue working. And it's the I think it's doing a good job of getting back to what we had before. It's a bit iffy. It works. Alright, so next one. I guess we could just start with the eye because it's the most easiest one to do. Let's do that. Then for the head. There we go. I feel like it's starting to look a bit more like a Spinosaurus, actually. That's kind of what I'm getting from this. I wouldn't mind drawing a Spinosaurus at some point, though. Oh, hi, hello there, Drip Monarch, Sung Jin Woo. Welcome to the stream. Hope you have a good day. Thank you for stopping by. And it's good to see you here. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing you on Twitter, and it's nice to see you here on Twitch as well. But yeah, I hope you're having a good day today. Thank you again for stopping by. Right now, I'm working on my dinosaur animation. Hopefully it's not looking too bad so far. Oh, hold on, gotta get my stylus working again. There we go. So this one, I already said it later, but this one's supposed to be Compsognathid. It's really a Compsognathid, which is the exact family of dinosaurs that I'm doing this week's Dino Facts mainly on. Assuming I have enough material to last a full week. There are quite a few Compsognathid out there, so hopefully I shouldn't have too much trouble coming up with them. So it does come down to it. Usually try to switch over to a similar type of dino, so it's not kind of just too out of nowhere. Oh, you got amazing art. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I feel like I'm still very much a beginner when it comes to art, but it does warm my heart when people do like how it looks. Hello there, Alistair. Dino, hello. I see the emails in the chat, and thank you for the follow just now. I appreciate the support. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you're having a good day today. Finally caught your stream? Indeed you have. So, for all the newcomers, welcome to my animation stream. I am animating a fellow dino. It's supposed to be Compsognathid. I don't know if you guys heard just now, but it is the type of dino that I'm doing this week's Dino Facts completely on. And hopefully it turns out alright at the end. So basically it's this... Well, they used to be one of the smallest groups of dinosaurs out there until I think Microraptor was discovered. Then they were no longer the smallest ones, but they are still pretty tiny dinos. I say besides Microraptorians, they're still one of the smallest ones out there. Thank you for the funny Twitter adventures. Of course. I'm glad people enjoy them, and I will definitely I'll be bringing out the next one tonight. And I feel bad that I've kind of been doing a lot of, I guess, checkpoints and not making new ones as much as I have been, but between moving back home for spring break and a few other things, it's been a bit difficult getting to all the replies. But I will try to do better in terms of time management and getting them all done, and hopefully getting some more adventures out. So can I ask you a question? It's about dinos, of course. I am more than happy to answer questions about dinos. Again, I'm not, well, I said it before earlier, but I'm definitely not knowledgeable about everything there is to dinos, so I may not be able to give the best answer, but I will always try my best with the information I do have to answer your questions. Hey, take your time with other things when life takes charge. Thank you. So then again, it is spring break after all, so I should be having more free time, really, to get stuff done. I lost my Wooloo from the interview, Dino. Did you see her anywhere? You mean Daisy? I'm not sure. You have to look elsewhere, unfortunately. Yeah, thank you for stopping by, Daniel. Hope you're having a good day, and it's good to see you here. And also, we need to get back to the whole stampede of Wooloos we're having with on our adventure today. Once I'm done with the stream. But yeah, for right now, I am drawing Dino Friend. And hopefully, well, I won't say I'll finish it, because it is quite a lot I need to do, but I want to make, I'm hoping to make some pretty good progress by the time I'm done with this. Darn, maybe she found out about the dino nugget. I hope not. Dino nuggies are supposed to be mine, though. They're the dinos nuggies. I'm trying to think of, because I am planning on releasing a new adventure tonight. What I should do for it. I mean, I've already done the reporter thing yesterday, plus kind of today. I feel like doing, I guess, like a job-related adventure for Chibi Tai might be a bit too repetitive. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll just have him be in like a random place this time. Something else, I'm not sure. I do remember having a lot of fun with this one bank heist adventure I did a while back. Maybe I'll do something similar to that. Hold on. Alright, here's some messages. Let's see. I heard that chickens are the closest things to dinos alive. Well, I think birds in general are supposed to be the closest things alive to dinosaurs, because they actually are dinosaurs. Taxidermic or taxonomic? I don't remember which term it is. Hold on. I can look it up. Taxonomic, right? It's taxonomic. Taxonomically, they are classified as avian dinosaurs. And while the rest of us, us dinos that were taken out during the meteor thing, we're referred to as non-avian dinosaurs. But, chicken specifically, I'm not sure. There is I guess, a misconception that is the closest relative to T-Rex at the moment. I mean, I can't say for myself if that's true or not, but I highly doubt it's like a direct descendant of Tyrannosaurus. I think it's more likely a descendant of what they were called, the Maniraptorans group, which basically includes raptors, microraptors, stuff like that. Some of the smaller, more bird-like dinos before that were there before the whole meteorite thing happened. Then Tyrannosaurus. I still don't know if that might be the closest being descended, like, in terms of like taxonomy, like maybe he had the closest living ancestor to T-Rex than any other bird, but I'm not sure. I actually heard not sure exactly when, in some of the past few years, there's actually been a project to turn chickens into dinosaurs. They're called the Chickenosauruses. And this project, I believe, is led by Jack Horner, pretty renowned paleontologist. I will say I don't agree with some of the things he's done in the past. Just to name one big one, he once said that T-Rexes would have been 100% scavenger. That's a hypothesis I really, me and lots of other people in paleontology heavily disagree with. But in terms of the Chickenosauruss project he's working on, I mean, I won't say no to some new dinos coming into the world, so if it all goes well, then good on him. There's probably other ethical issues regarding that, but in terms of just like the basic premise, getting new dinos, I'm more than happy with that. I think they said at one point that they managed to get a dinosaur with, like a chicken with a dinosaur face, but I'm not sure what happened to it after the few articles that talked about it. I think I heard from one person that they were able to make it, but they didn't allow it to hatch, or something along those lines. I'm not sure. Maybe she wants to be one of you. Sheep dinosaur. Sheep dinosaur Pokemon too. There may be a plot point we can use in one of our future adventures, Daniel. And I like the drawing so far. Thank you. Let's see. What about a moon? I'm not sure what that means, but thank you for answering, of course. I think it was chicken with dino legs, but I'm not sure. Well, I know they already do have dino legs because they are theropods. They have 3-toed feet, claws, and they're bipedal like the theropods of the olden days were. So they already do have dino legs. I think I've seen pictures of them. I forgot what it was exactly, but I think they like taped artificial tails to chickens and tried to see if they would start to walk around like dinosaurs did. Again, I don't know. I haven't delved too much into that, but it is an interesting project that they're working on. I mean, there was also once the possibility of cloning real dinosaurs when a T-Rex ended up being damaged, but while they were really disappointed that happened, I believe they noticed a red liquid pouring out of the leg bone, and their diagnostics turned out to be some old dinosaur blood that managed to survive, and the dinosaur blood cells inside too. But from what I last recall, I think the DNA is too old at this point, so we can't really use it for cloning dinos anymore, unfortunately. But I'm bad at wording it, but it's still an interesting discovery we had. I don't know why, but imagining chickens with a dino tail is really funny. It's a pretty funny when I think about it too. Oddly fascinating, but also kind of funny. Alright. Go. Back to the animation. So I think I aligned. I think I need to do something right. Second. Someone posted something in chat. I don't know if it's spam or but I'm just to be safe. I'm gonna get rid of that. I don't know. Wait, hold on. Already saw that one. Alright. Go. And now for the last leg. Just trying to think of what else I know about that experiment. Can't think of anything right now. But if something comes up in my dino brain again, I will try to tell you guys. But I think for right now, that's as far as I know about the whole Tyrannosaurus thing that Jack Horner and the rest of the scientists working on it are trying to do. I will say though, even though it's still a bit improbable we'll get actual dinos being cloned, I think there's good odds of getting a mammoth at least. Because I think we found quite a few like frozen mammoths with pretty decent decent remains with some DNA that could be used. I think technically though, because they would need an actual animal to give birth to it, and I think the closest descendant that could work for it would be an Asian elephant. It wouldn't quite be a resurrected mammoth as much as it would be just a woolly Asian elephant, but it's a cool idea nonetheless. Trying to think of something else along the lines of this subject, but I can't quite think of anything right now. Yeah, I think I'll get back to you guys on that. Alright, right now, back to the animation. Yeah. I get my stylus working again. There we go. And then the hand. Maybe I'll do the hands last, just to save a bit more time. Let me redo the tail. There we go. And here we go. Get the stylus working again. Okay. Oh, you're a genius for coming up with Twitter adventures. Thank you. Honestly, I never expected things to turn out like this, like with the Adventures release. Originally, it started out as something, I guess, much more smaller than I had imagined. Specifically, it was just me inserting myself into some meme templates. And then it kind of just started becoming more interactive from there, and eventually it just evolved into the adventures we have today. I'm honestly grateful that happened, because this is some of the most fun I've had in general, like in a really long time, doing these adventures with everyone. And though I am having I feel like I have struggled a little bit with making them in recent times, I still do enjoy doing those, and I want to try and get back into the swing of things, I guess. I'm still coming up with ideas for adventures even right now. Just doing a little bit of brainstorming for them. But yeah. I will. I also will say, like speaking of content creation, I am planning on trying to make clips of some of my old streams, over spring break. I'm not sure if I'll have the time to actually do that, but I do really want to try and get that out. I'm not sure if I've been able to find a good video editor I can use, and do other stuff. I do want to try and get on that as soon as I can. I don't know if I want to do anything for my debut stream though, because it was not the best. But I guess I'll try scouring around my old streams and try to find if there's anything, I guess, clip worthy there. I will say though, actually, my debut stream anniversary, I guess, is it's right around the corner, actually. If I remember correctly, my debut stream was back in March 2001, the 24th. So it was only 10 days away, actually. So maybe I should plan something to celebrate that. And I'm not entirely sure what I want to do. Maybe I guess like redo my debut and I guess kind of reintroduce myself for everyone that's joined me on my journey as a VTuber ever since that day. And I guess have more to do and just see how much I've changed since back then when it technically my first ever, it was definitely my first ever actual, like just streaming in general. I will say though, to anyone who has who's a pre-debut VTuber and or just wants to try streaming in general, I would say probably like either just go for it or like do pre-debut streams, because I was not at all prepared for when I did my debut, and it was admittedly a bit of a mess. And honestly, whenever I look at it and then I look at myself now, it's quite really interesting how much I've kind of changed over this past year, like in terms of streaming. I still feel like I might need to do a little more in terms of like commentary to kind of up the ante, but I will say I feel like I'm speaking with a bit more confidence than I definitely was back then during my debut. Anyways, I realized I missed the message just now. I tried to come up with a story or background for a character, and it's hard, yeah. It is quite difficult to come up with an interesting story. It does take a bit out of me to brainstorm for my adventures too, but honestly, sometimes one of the best things to do for that is actually just what I like to do is just kind of quickly scroll sometimes through my Twitter feed and just hope I come across something that gives me some inspiration. Because that's what happened with one of my most recent adventures of Chibi-Tai getting stuck inside a hamster cage. I was just looking around trying to come up with an interesting idea, and I found one of Haru Kakatsu's retweets of a hamster, and then that kind of just came to me. That yep, this'll be today's venture, and everyone seemed to have a lot of fun with it, and I guess understandably, quite a few people also liked Haru in that one, and it is nice. So, if they weren't bothered at it by that at all. I like to think that they had fun with it, but I'm not sure if the amount of tags that they got in that adventure was the most fun for them. Hopefully they didn't mind. Someone actually made a pretty funny video edit of one of the mini threads that I had with Haru Kasatsu in it in that adventure, as well as a few other people who I can't remember which ones. And I know it doesn't have the best memory, but it was fun, and I did retweet it, so I guess if you want to see it for yourself, I did look up, I think their name was Cream, or I guess you can just go to my homepage and just scroll down a bit and hopefully you should come across it. It wasn't too long ago. But as for today's adventures, I haven't come up with something just yet. And I guess for now I should probably, at least like after the stream, what I should be focusing on is trying to get through all the replies for the reporter adventure, because I still have quite a bit of those to get to, including some from yesterday actually. But I have done a pretty decent job of getting through to all of them today so far, and hopefully I should have gotten to all of them by the time like 10 o'clock rolls around, which is when I normally like to when I like to bring out the new adventure, like around 10 or 11. I tried to be as quick as I can with working with the arms this time around. Try not to take too long with it. Okay. This. Alright, and there we go. And like I said before, we could just I just kind of rush through them, because we are going to try and just like clean things up after I'm done with getting all the frames made. Just kind of give it a small polish after I'm done. It was okay if we just kind of have placeholders for the hands here. Do you have a streaming schedule? Yes I do. It's actually it should be pinned on my Twitter page. Hopefully. I want to think that I didn't mess that up and pinned the wrong one to the top of my Twitter page. Though with the Dino Brain, you can never be too sure. And also, I feel like I should have more time zone on because right now I really have times for ST and PST, but I remember seeing someone else request that I add times for a different time zone that I need to get to. And I need someone to remind me so I don't forget, because the Dino Brain is not memory quite just. So yeah. I guess next Sunday when I do get the next the next streaming schedule, there isn't a third time zone there. I guess just shoot a quick reminder in my Twitter DMs, I guess, and I shall try to fix that. Hopefully. Thanks, you're welcome. And because it's spring break, I have decided to do a few extra streams this week. So now that I think about it, it is fun to do streams, of course, but I am worried about how much it's going to probably clash a bit with the time I want to spend doing the adventures too. I need to find a way to really balance it out between those two in terms of like time management. So now with the Dino time, getting the hang of time management is going to be a tiny bit difficult. I shall try my best. And also, thank you to. I'm definitely going to mess up this name, but thank you, Antares, Rigel. Thank you for the stream. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. I appreciate the support. Hope you're having a good day today. Thank you for stopping by. It's good to see you here. Yeah. But yes, hello. I was gonna say, but I think I was already gonna say it. Everyone says don't mess it up and get pretty close anyways. How was I, at least? Did I do pretty good on it? Oh, you did fine. Okay, that's good. Dino usually isn't the best with names. Oh, bye. It's 3:40 a.m. where I live, and I have exams tomorrow. I see. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Sung Jin Woo. Let's see. Anyways, I hope you had a good time here. Good luck with all the exams. I hope you do well, and thank you again for stopping by and chatting with me for a bit, and also for your question earlier about chicken dinos. It was pretty fun to answer that. And yeah, sleep well. Good luck on the exams. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And again, thank you for stopping by. I'm trying to think of more subjects to talk about, like so there isn't too much, I guess, dead air in the stream. Not sure what though. I don't want to go, but I have to. It's okay. It's okay. Life comes first, and those exams are important, so you should go rest and prepare yourself for when you come around. I'm pretty sure it's very soon. Alright, see ya. Opinions on the mosasaur, go. Okay, which mosasaur specifically? Like, just mosasauruses in general, or like the Jurassic Park, well, Jurassic World one, I guess. I guess we could just talk about, like, everything about mosasaurs generally. So, I guess, let's see. Jurassic World's Mosasaurus, from what I know, I think a lot of alieners have already said this, but it's definitely a lot larger than what real Mosasauruses would have been like. But, personally, I don't really mind too much. I mean, it looks cool. It is pretty faithful to the general body shape of a Mosasaurus, and definitely does a good job at, like, being an entertaining sight whenever it's on screen in any of the Jurassic World movies that it's in. So yeah, I would say I like Jurassic World's interpretation of Mosasaurus quite a bit. And let's see, I guess in general, I guess one fun fact about Mosasauruses is that they actually have pretty humble beginnings, starting out as creatures similar to today's monitor lizards. So if you know, like Komodo dragons or river monitors from Africa, all those lizards, they're probably some of today's closest relatives to Mosasaurus. As a dinosaur in general, well, I guess they aren't trying to lead dinosaur, they're trying to lizard, but still, yeah. I was considering correcting you on that, so I feel like that is a bit mean to do sometimes, but you already did correct yourself, so yeah. Anyways, so yeah, as I was saying, they started off as just monitor lizards, but due to living with some of the first ever dinosaurs, life was not going too slow for them on land. So some of them decided it would be best to start adapting to living underwater. And over time, they started growing flippers instead of legs, and getting all the evolutionary stuff that you would expect from most aquatic life. Their heads getting bigger, and then eventually they got mosasauruses, which ended up being probably one of the strongest aquatic predators to ever live, and in general probably one of the greatest predators to ever live on Earth, more so than most dinosaurs, and probably all dinosaurs actually today. Well, I guess it would kind of depend on where they are. At the very least, like underwater, they would pretty much be like impossible to defeat. I've seen people argue whether or not they would fare well against a megalodon, but I'm not entirely sure if Mosasaurus and megalodon would have met. Pretty sure megalodon would. I think it came into existence after the extinction of the dinosaurs. I'm not entirely sure though. So basically, would have Mosasaurus would have gone long. As far as I know, they would have gone long extinct before megalodon showed up. More about Mosasaurus. Is about a specific kind of mosasaur, also from the Jurassic Park franchise, the Tyrannosaurus. That was in the Jurassic Park, the game from Telltale. I personally really liked that design, and I kind of wish that they actually had it for Jurassic World Evolution 2, because I'm pretty sure Tyrannosaurus is in that game, but it doesn't have that look. Which I'll admit is a bit disappointing, because I did love that design of Tyrannosaurus, but I'm pretty sure someone at this point has already made a mod for it. Because they've been making quite a few interesting mods for Jurassic World Evolution 2. Especially with aquatic creatures, like more scientifically accurate versions of some of the aquatic creatures. I think a swimming Spinosaurus. And quite a few others. And also Megalodon, like I mentioned earlier. Oh, I'm gonna go at the end of time. That's okay. And thank you for stopping by, Kate. I hope you enjoy your dinner. Have a good rest of your day, and thank you for stopping by. I think the Meg is post PK extinction, so probably no Mosa or Mega fights. Yeah, sounds about right. I imagine life would be pretty difficult for them if there were them, and also most sea life if there were giant predators like both of them existing at the same time. PK and KP extinction brain don't work. It's okay. Neither does mine sometimes. And I honestly get that happening to me too quite a bit. It's a KP or KT extinction event. For some reason my brain is saying it. I don't know if it's correct, but my brain is saying that it's supposed to be the KT extinction event. I might be wrong though. Is that the... Hold on. I'm not sure, hold on. I'll take a bit to look it up, hold on. the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction. And oh wait, though. Oh, they're the same thing. Okay. Oh, I did not know that. Huh. I usually hear more people say KT extinction event. It's interesting to note that KP is also accurate too. I should. I want to ask. What do you say one of your favorite general groups of dinosaurs is your favorite? Kind of curious about that now. Well, for me personally, I think it might be pretty obvious, but I do really love Tyrannosaurus. But what about you? Yeah, the books I've been reading lately, not really dinosaurs, but talk about evolutionary biology, refer to them as the KP extinct. You see it that way. Huh. That's interesting to know. I'll probably stick to just saying like the KT extinction because it kind of just comes to me quicker, but I forgot what I was gonna say because thank you for telling me that of I guess a different way to call the KT extinction event. I'm partial to Raptorian theropods like Utah, Raptor, the Archaeopteryx. Understandable. They are pretty cool dinos, and what are your thoughts on? I don't know if it's fairly recent, but I guess what a few people have been saying about Dakota Raptor being such giant turtles. I'm pretty sure everyone at this point, I think that everyone at this point is well, not everyone, but most people agree that it is indeed like a real dromaeosaur, but I wonder what your thoughts are. Big scary guys are very cool too. I mean, I guess as a kid I was always drawn towards the megatheropods just because of how big and cool they are, but I mean, well, that is kind of true even now, but they're still also one of the most interesting dinos to me. Especially T-Rex, since it's probably one of the dinosaurs we know the most about, I'd say. Thanks to all the T-Rex fossils we found from Hell Creek. At least one of the most well-known dinos. I'm sure like the most well-known one. I'm sure that's Spinosaurus. I dare say we know, based on some images I've seen, we may know too much about Spinosaurus. I can't say I kept up too much with the Dakota Raptor. I remember a professor of mine going off about it in a bio class. That sounds fun though. I wish I had more paleontology, I guess, based classes in the college I'm going to. I think that would have been nice. So far, I don't think I've really found much alien nerds like me in real life, unfortunately. Um, I'm a software engineer. It was just bio too, but we were talking about fossils and fossil records. Nice. So though, it's nice. It's nice to meet a fellow paleo nerd and to know that you're also able to meet quite a few paleo nerds out there yourself in school. Trying to think whether dromaeosaurs. Oh. It's just your thoughts on the designs of the velociraptors in both the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies. I have a friend who works in a museum and is a massive paleo nerd. I just dabble. I mean, that's fine. Anyone who is remotely interested in dinos is, for the most part, a friend of mine. Forgot what else I was gonna say. Well, first off, they're way too big in both of them, I think. Yeah, definitely. They're both like all the Jurassic Park World movies. They're depicted as being like human-sized, which, don't get me wrong, makes them scarier for movies. That is true. Yeah. I personally think that they're definitely they're inaccurate, but they do a really good job at like their roles in the Jurassic Park movies. Which, like in the first movie, it's like just to be like the big bad. Well, not big bad, but like kind of the scary movie monster kind of creatures that are going after the humans most of the time. They do a good job at that. And I'd say, I guess, in the Jurassic World movies, having them be able to stand like at around eye to eye level with like Owen Grady's, I think that in some scenes, like especially can't think of a specific one, but I guess like having them at eye to eye level kind of works with like how their relationships are kind of portrayed. I don't know how to word it, but I guess they seem more like, I guess, equals. No way, not the best at wording it. Alright, I think the effects and the models were fantastic, true. Okay, I missed quite a few messages, actually. Hold on, which one we get wrong, makes them scary for movies. We're turkey-sized in real life, yep. Kinda makes them scarier, like 5 turkey-sized lizards coming at you reminds of the riding 100 duck-sized horses joke. That is true. 5 turkey-sized lizards. I'm trying to think of. I guess I'd imagine it being similar to like a bunch of hawks attacking you. Like if you were to get too close to their nest or something like that. Which should arguably be the scariest, like one large animal like a bear going after you still. Death by one bear swipe or death by like 1,000 hawk attacks. None of those sound pleasant. And I think the effects and the models were fantastic. Definitely. I will say though, it's definitely not the fault of the creators, but just the CGI in the first movie has definitely become a bit outdated in some scenes, but for the most part, like especially for their time, they really hit it out of the ballpark. Is how the best way I can describe it. And people say they're kind of debated about the CGI of the Jurassic World movies, but I think those look really good too. I think possibly the volcano scene in Fallen Kingdom, but for the most part, I can't really think too much about CGI in any of the Jurassic Park movies too much. Even though I believe common understanding is that they were probably more feathered or plumed at least. Yeah. Definitely. And it's also not like the little bits of floof that sometimes people will put on them, but they would have had to like fully developed like wing feathers and such. They definitely would not have been used for flight or anything, but they would have had pretty nice looking plumage, I guess, similar to modern day birds. They wouldn't have used them for much. They would have had well-developed feathers on like the sides of their arms that I think most scientists agree they would have either been for like warming up eggs, or I don't know about this one actually, but maybe like for display purposes, like flash them out as a kind of like a fan. That one might be a bit outdated though, I'm not entirely sure. At least that's why most of this I'm getting from like some pretty old dinosaur documentaries, but I'm not sure nowadays from how I see their arms are portrayed if they'd actually be able to do that. Because I don't think I'm not sure if they had the best like ability to move their hands around. If they can do that though, that would be awesome. Kind of like land piranhas. I guess they kind of would be like that. Though, unfortunately, well, I guess it's not entirely out the window, but some scientists have argued that pack hunting dromaeosaurids might not be real. Specifically, the thing that really brought up the idea of dromaeosaurids potentially living and hunting in packs was a discovery of several Deinonychus being found near a dead Tyrannosaurus. But unfortunately, a lot of people nowadays are, well, not a lot of people, but, well, actually, probably not sure, but a good number of experts are saying that it was possible that they were either all just coming towards a kill, or they would only they weren't actually related to each other or anything, but they would just randomly come together to go after one creature, and then that would be the end of that. So I guess it's something the best way I can describe it is just like in a game where you just party up with people for a little bit, and then after that it's kind of just like a feeding frenzy. So personally, just because I like the idea of animals living in tight social groups, which is part of why I like dogs so much, part of me wants to hold out hope that dromaeosaurs did actually live in packs. And Tyrannosaurids too. Because there is a giant bone bed of Albertosaurus in the dry bone formation. That's what it's called. The dry bone bed? I'm not sure. Probably remembering that wrong, but wherever that place was, at least 26 individuals from what I remember were found together of varying different ages, and none of them looked like they were attacking each other. Plus, there were no herbivores around as far as I know, so it's certainly possible they were living in packs. I mean, again, some scientists are saying that it was probably something like them being drawn there by like a drought or something, but I still feel like this proof of like social carnivorous dinosaurs is a bit harder to disprove. Though I might be biased. It doesn't mean I can't ride them in art. Well, it doesn't mean I can't. Well, I mean, Ark, I'm pretty sure, has the big dromaeosaurids, so you're free to ride on them. And speaking of Ark, I already said this quite a while ago, like a few good number of times, but Ark was originally one of the first games I wanted to play for streams, and it was the first game I believe I downloaded on Steam with the intention of streaming it. But because my laptop isn't exactly the best, I don't think really. I don't think it would be the best streaming as it is until I get a better laptop. And Art can be a bit intensive. Also, my phone just shut off right now, so I have to switch a bit to OBS for a bit to read chat. Sorry about that. I choose to believe that dinosaurs had various social groups for hanging out and hunting. Honestly, I think I can go with that idea too. I just gotta get my phone back working again, so I can see chat while focusing on the animation still. Technology is not the kindest to this dino. Well, I mean, I say that, but I guess it might kind of be on me for not charging my phone before stream. Oh, it should be good now. I do have a chart connected to my laptop right now, but I'm not sure if it's not the best way to charge your phone. All right, there we go. Now it's back on. All right, now back to work. But yeah, I do think it would be nice if dinosaurs did have like several social groups of living together, and also some made just for hunting. As always, there's not always enough evidence for some of these theories, but I like to hold out hope for stuff like that. I just kind of like the idea of dinosaurs being more social and I guess kind of acting more, I guess, intelligent and human-like than some would believe. I guess. I guess it might have something to do with things like, I guess first, like how dinosaurs nowadays are portrayed as all good parents, thanks to the fossils we found of Maiasaura. I guess I would like if dinosaurs had like more on top of that too, like close, tight family bonds. Granted, I don't think there's a lot of evidence of that in cases like modern day birds, which are dinos' closest relatives. But again, it would be nice if that were the case. And there is evidence, well, there are cases of I guess modern day dinos, aka birds, mating for life, so I could hold out hope for at least something like that. I have to grab some food to get back to work on my model, so I'll be lurking in and out of stream, but have a good stream. I'll be here. Alright. Well, thank you for the lurk. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Good luck with making your model, and also thank you for talking with me about dinos. It's always fun to do, and I forgot what else I was gonna say. Because also, I'm pretty sure you were the first one to kind of like reach out and start a conversation, so thank you for that. Alright. Back to the animation, and also I want to try and think of more dino related topics to talk about. The dino brain is not the best at this again. So if anyone wants to just like throw in a dino, like a question about dinos in chat, I'd be more than happy to try and answer it. We will talk about dinos in the future, but for now, I eat. Oh, and thank you, Saint, not Saint, for the follow. I appreciate the support, and welcome to the stream. Hope you have a good day today. Hope you have a good day today. Thank you for stopping by. It's good to see you here. Also, I don't know if I heard. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but for some reason, I don't think I heard the alert box go off. I'm sure I saw it on my other screen, but I didn't hear. I didn't hear the sound that usually comes with it, which is kind of odd. Maybe that's just something that happens every now and then. I'm not sure. Alright. But, yeah, welcome to the stream. Right now we are drawing dinos here. And here's what I got so far. I think I actually like how this is looking so far. It might be mostly in part the Credo, but I do like how fluid it's kind of looking so far. Oh, okay. I think we're making pretty darn good progress with this. Alright, so let's continue. And I need to think of, while I'm doing this, I still want to think of more dino stuff to talk about. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it would be awesome to do a podcast at some point with some other dino nerds that I know, well, paleo nerds that I know from the VTuber community. I think that would be nice. Like, and there's definitely Orver Odds, an alligator VTuber. He knows quite a bit about dinos. Let's see who else. Also, Lofo Lee. I'm pretty sure he's actually a paleontology student too, so that would be fun. And there's quite a few others. Diana Tyranno, who a fellow Tyranno. I'm pretty sure she's also quite a bit of a paleontology nerd as well. So, I mean, I guess if I'm too nervous to reach out to anyone about doing something like that, but I mean, if any of you guys are watching right now and want to do like I was gonna say like a dinosaur VTuber podcast talking about, I guess, dino stuff, then definitely count me in. I've seen quite a... I mean, I don't personally listen to podcasts too much, but a few times I have, especially the paleontology podcasts, they're usually pretty fun. Sometimes I like to have them as just like background music while I background noise while I do other things. But yes, I think it would be nice like to just have time and other people to like constantly be talking about dinos with. And I mean, I already have, I guess, a few friends. Well, at least a few acquaintances. And actually, I don't know if I really like the term acquaintances. I say I already have a few friends within like the paleo Twitter community, but I don't know if I would be able to go this far. But I would like to try and like reach out to some of the other like people I know from paleo community and like talk with them for a bit about dinos. I'm not sure though. Also, I would like to play Ark, or well, not Ark. I already said Ark, but I'd like to play the Isle or some because those games where you're basically simulating the life of a dinosaur. I think those would be really fun to do, and I would also love to do like a collab for those with other dino VTubers as well. Doesn't have to be Ark specifically, I guess. Also like Beasts of Bermuda, Path of Titans. Think of others. I guess Thorian, though. I don't feel like much has really been going on with that game for a while. But yeah, just those kind of games in general, I think it would be fun to hang out with other dino VTubers in. I guess probably Isle would be the best choice if we want everyone to like be dinos that they're supposed to be. It does have the most choices in terms of dinos. Like we have Pistachosauruses for peasant here, and Velociraptors, T-Rexes, dinos, Ceratops, Stegos. I think there's Acrocanthosaurus, so there's this Acrocanthosaurus VTuber I know, Anna Kenzis, who could also be the dino that she's supposed to be. There's definitely Dilos too, so I feel like just about any dino VTuber will be able to, if we did do like an Isle collab, they should be able to have the dino that they're supposed to be. Except for the few cases where there's people who are supposed to be dinosaur hybrids. But I guess in that case, they would at least have like a few percentages correct, because they're supposed to be hybrids. I guess I can't afford them right now, but I guess there are dinosaur games like in Roblox that I also have that sort of gimmick. I'm not sure if I want to play those on stream though. I don't know. I mean, I've seen the Gaming Beaver play some of those, and they do seem kind of fun. Possibly, I'm not sure. I mean, I think I'd rather like to save and wait until some of the other dinosaur simulation games, I guess. I have to consider that. Alright. No. One more frame and... I think I'll have it stop over here and then prepare to jump. Yeah, I think this is the general area. Really need another layer down here, so I'll just get rid of that. Alright. I also wanted to do stream of Zoo Tycoon 2, especially with all the mods that I downloaded as back when I was a kid on my old computer. Zoo Tycoon 2 is generally probably my favorite game of all time. I have no idea how many hours I spent on that game, both as a kid and also, I guess, a few times here and there as an adult, but I don't know how I'd be able to, not on this laptop. I don't know if I need like a capture card or something to be able to stream it on this laptop while playing it on the other computer that I have. I've also seen another dino VTuber named Sora the Stegosaurus stream Zoo Tycoon 2, so maybe I could go to them for advice about like how to get through all that stuff. It would be really nice though, and honestly, the Zoo Tycoon 2 community is still quite a bit, still going pretty strong. Though it's been over a decade since the game was released, and honestly, even this year I've seen quite a few mods released for the game. I get kind of like that. People are still and they still enjoy that really old game of Zoo Tycoon 2 and still are trying to make their own content for it. There's just one particular mod that I've always loved. Well, understandably, is about dinos. Cretaceous Calamity. I remember they were doing something of like a revamp for it, and even though it's stopped now, it leave behind really good Parasaurolophus mod before they went, and it's probably one of the best mods I've actually ever seen for Zoo Tycoon 2. And you can look it up if you want. I think just like doing Zoo Tycoon 2 Cretaceous Calamity Parasaurolophus will already take you to what it is. And now I need to think of something else to talk about. I hope that you guys do genuinely kind of enjoy all these rambles, I guess I do during each stream. Sometimes I feel like I go a bit overboard with them sometimes. Alright. Kind of thing. Words. I guess for now I could just focus on animation until I find something just like comes to my mind that I want to talk about. I guess I did mention how the dinosaur I'm drawing right now looks a tiny bit like a Spinosaurid, which were the dinos that I spent last week's Dino Facts on, so I guess I could talk about them. Let's see. Yes, recently especially last week when I was doing my Dino Facts on them, I realized just how many Spinosaurids have been discovered in the Iberian Peninsula. Yeah, Iberian Peninsulas. Beforehand, I just thought they were usually like in parts of Africa and also a few here and there in Europe. Mainly because that's where Spinosaurus, Suchomimus, and like Baryonyx, Suchomimus, all the big names are. But then I realized, especially with a good number of newer Spinosaurids that have been discovered recently, there was a really large number of them in the Iberian Peninsula, including some that we've already known about, specifically Baryonyx. So some of the more recent ones I think are like Iberospinus, Ceratosuchops or something like that. Paravenator. Trying to think of other names for them. Spinosaurus has some of the craziest names of any dinosaur that I know of. You can look them up on look up Spinosauridae on Wikipedia if you don't believe me. Oh, hi, Jay. Hello there, fancy logo. Where's glad to see that you, I see that you're still here, and yeah, after that you're I hope that you're enjoying the stream. And as you can see, my ability to word things has not gotten much better. Why not look up Starscream on the Urban Dictionary? I mean, like, I won't say I know everything about this because I really don't know much about this franchise, but you mean like Starscream from Transformers? I only know about it because of this one death battle video against, I think it was a Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony. Yes, yeah, that's the only thing I remember I know him from. I'm not sure if I want to look him up on the Urban Dictionary because I don't know if its definitions are always most appropriate. But maybe I'll take a look at it after stream. I'll try to keep that in mind at least. Alright. And that is the feet done. Oh, and a few little wrinkles here. And now they're good. Oh, thank you to Random Maximum for the follow. I appreciate the support. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day today. Thank you for stopping by. It's good to see you here, fellow Tyrannosaurus. Right now, I am just here trying to animate a dino here. It's supposed to be a Compsognathus. That's kind of, well, a Compsognathed, not specifically Compsognathus. It has changed a little bit from the base we had, but I think it's still looking pretty nice. Except maybe the arms, but we'll fix them up at the end. maybe. I'm working at the moment, but I wanted to stop by and say hello. I love your animation so far. Well, thank you. And I hope all is going well for you at work. And also, thanks for stopping by to say hello. And also, sorry if my throat is, well, if my voice is sounding different. I feel like my throat is getting a bit dry. I don't know if this is the best solution, but I do have like a Pepsi can here in case I was thirsty, so I got a bit to drink from that. Pretty sure water is the best way to go for it, though. I'm not sure. Alright, there we go. I am now ready to talk again, I think. Alright. So now for the dreaded hands. Alright, let's make the arm. There we go. I know I said that I was going to like fix them up at like I'm finally finished with like the main frames here. It doesn't stop them from looking, I guess, not the best to me. But I don't want to spend too much time on just the arms. They do have quite a lot we need to get through for this. So it's a fine sacrifice that I will take. And there we go. Alright. So I want to take a peek to see how the bed looks now. Alright, hold on. I go back. Okay, I think it's looking alright. You know what, the tip's looking a little bit floppy-ish. I don't think it's too bad. Alright, so now I guess it's going to stop. We need to move I think we need to move the leg a bit back. So that this leg can like I guess like stop next to it. Have it look like it's standing, like it in the piece over here. Right. I remember to do also the legs there again. Might be looking a little too thick for a compact naked. There we go. Also add the little wrinkles on the feet for extra detail. And over here too. Make the legs thin. There we go. Switch to eraser mode again. Go. No claws here. And there we go. I think it'll do for now. Now for the tail. There we go. Perfect. Alright. And now for the head. There we go. I changed up the look of the head a little bit to make it a bit closer to how the face looked. Yeah, I guess there is some. I do have something I might want to talk about, I guess. How many of you have actually seen the original Land Before Time movie? Because I actually even though I did do a dinosaur movie tier list not too long ago, I actually haven't seen the original Land Before Time movie. I've only seen episodes of the show plus clips of some of the sequels. Plus one full sequel, I think. Which I think was Land Before Time 4. But I am trying on Saturday to do a bit of like a watch-along, the original movie. So I guess if you guys are interested in that, then I guess like stop by on Saturday to see how that goes. And also from what I've seen, it's actually a pretty short movie, all things considered, compared to movies nowadays. I think it's at max, the counting credits, an hour and 9 minutes long. So I guess like in between, like me probably waiting for, like doing the usual 3 minutes of waiting before actually starting stream and maybe chatting with you guys before and after the movie, it's probably gonna be a bit shorter than usual. Which I guess will be helpful, because on Sunday I'm probably going to have to like get things in order and move back to the dorms. Because unfortunately, college spring break is not nearly as long as winter break is. I am thankful for having a break at all, but I can't help but hope for it was a little bit longer. But then again, I think the college year, at least where I am, technically ends at like around Mayish. So I actually don't have too long until, not too long until summer break rolls by, and then hopefully you guys are just going to see like a whole flood of content creation from me with no more school to tie me down. Hopefully. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I remember I'm back when I was just starting out, at least. I would try to go during summer break. I would try to go for like, I think sometimes it would be 5 streams in a week. And that would be awesome right now, but considering now another major part of my content is the adventures, and it would take quite a bit of time away from them. I think I probably won't go too overboard with that, but I will try to do more streams, I guess. Something like this that I'm doing this week, like more than just the 2 that I'm able to do per week back at college, but not too much. I'm not able to get any adventures really done on time. Oh, hello there, Jack or name. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day, and thank you for stopping by. It is good to see you here. Right now, I am just the size. Right now, I am just animating a dino. It is Aldous. I remember that name, but I'm not sure from where though. Hold on, let me look it up. Aldous. For Twitter, yeah. I think I remember that name from somewhere. I don't know where. Can you tell me what? Sorry, I am not the best with names. I swear I recognize you. Hopefully, when I'm going through the adventures after stream, hopefully I will come across you and like recognize that's Aldous. Trying to think. Yeah. I guess. Can you tell me like if you do interact with my adventures, like what's one of the things that we did? I think that would probably be good. Like help me remember. Beach adventure, man. I do remember something about a beach adventure. Was it the one for like quite a while ago where like the dino was just like swimming in the ocean? That's like the first one that really comes to mind. There might be other beach adventures that I don't remember. Hello. Hi, Ty. Hello there, lonely gamer. Welcome to the stream. Very good day today. Thank you for stopping by. Good to see you here. Right now, we are drawing, a dino. Oh, hold on. Okay. Go. I feel like space around here is a bit much. I'm gonna make it a bit smaller. I think this is a bit more reasonable. Honey bun, dinosaur. Hello there, bunny friend. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day today. Thank you for stopping by. It's good to see you here. So, here's the progress I have been able to make so far. Hello, Dino. I'm mostly just gonna be lurking tonight, but have a good stream. Ah, okay. I appreciate the lurk. Hope you have a good rest of your day. You do watch the stream. I hope you have a good time, and I hope you have a good day just in general. Well, and well, I guess you said tonight, so I hope you're having a good night / evening, and yeah, words. Alright, you gotta go, check your name. Alright, class is in a few minutes. That's alright. Well, thank you for stopping by, and I hope class goes well for you. Cool animation so far. Thank you, Honey Bun. I'm definitely still a beginner at this, but I do think I'm making fairly decent progress at this. Alright. I did say before I'm gonna try and do like a little bit of revising when I'm done drawing all the frames. Lonely Gamer, I see your emails in chat. That Geocat. I've been drawn in by two things: animation and dinos. I see. But they are two really cool things, I will say. I love dinos and I love animations. And yeah, so far here's my attempt at animation. And I feel like I'm kind of a bit of an amateur at this at the moment, but I think I'm making pretty good progress with this. How about I see the emotes in chat? I see the animated emotes in chat, Lonely Gamer. And also, for Kate, I do also do Dino Facts every now and then. If also answer Dino questions anyone may want to ask if you do want to ask those. Well, if you do have dinosaur questions about dinos to ask me, I'll always say that I'm not always the most the most knowledgeable on dinos, but I can always try to answer as much as I can with the information I do have. Plus, in general, it's just pretty fun talking about dinos, regardless. He only has my own animated emote as an animated. And thank you for following that Geocat. I appreciate the support. And also, I don't know what your animated emote is like, but I'm pretty sure it looks cool. I would like to make an animated emote myself, if given the opportunity. I guess maybe I would like to have something with like a T-Rex fighting. Something like the transition that I have here. I think that would be interesting. Maybe something like me just nomming on like a chicken nugget. I think that'd be interesting. But yeah, I don't know if I already said this, but I hope that you all are having a good day today and that you're enjoying the stream, and yeah. Let's see. Let me move this here further back again. There we go. Okay. Oh, hold on, I think I made the foot a little bit too big here. Hold on. Let me thin it out a bit. There we go. And I did reset my stylus. There we go. Well, actually, I remember I did say earlier that I wanted to do Land Before Time watch along on Saturday, but if you guys are also up for it, I would like to do a watch along for like maybe dinosaur documentaries too. I'd like to look back on some of my old childhood documentaries with you guys, if you would be interested in that. If I had to choose, I'd probably imagine I'd first go with Dinosaur Planet. That's probably the most nostalgic one for me. It's definitely out, like in terms of science, it is a bit outdated in a few areas, but honestly, I don't really mind. I still love that documentary series a lot. Probably more so than Walking with Dinosaurs, even though it is kind of the big one when it comes to dinosaur documentaries. But I never actually watched too much of Walking with Dinosaurs. It was always Dinosaur Planet that I was watching. Also, I guess a few bits of Planet Dinosaur and Dinosaur Revolution. Plus, probably, I think a few clips here and there of when dinosaurs roamed North America. That's about as far as I can think of. I guess I also did watch a bit of Jurassic Fight Club, but I mean, there's the documentaries. It's especially paleontology documentaries. It's not the best. What other than that? I'm trying to think what our dinosaur documentary. Oh, March of the Dinosaurs was also kind of had a similar feel to Dinosaur Planet, because it focuses around a few dinosaur protagonists with specific names and kind of focuses on their lifestyle and stuff like that. Oh, hello there, Honk. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day today. Thank you for stopping by. It's good to see you here. And I hope that you're doing well. I was just rambling about dinos while working on this animation over here. It's what I've got so far. I think especially with the feet, it's looking pretty good. Oh, might be mostly thanks to Krita, but I do think it's moving pretty smoothly. Nice, nice. Actually, you know what? Actually, first, I need to save this. To make sure I don't lose anything, because that did happen one time, and I want to see how it looks like. Okay. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Alright, so let's continue with this then. Set everything back to the way it was. And there we go. I'm definitely not going to finish it stream. Definitely making I'd say I'm making a good amount of progress so far. And at least it certainly beats I guess how it was back when I was making my loading screen for my streams. I remember a good amount of the time I would just do 10 frames and then just kind of leave it at that. Those were fun times though. Kind of feels nice going back into animation again after so long. And then again after, I'd say like a week from my last animation stream. Well, probably not exactly a week, but maybe like a week or two. No. And that's the tail done. Alright, now for the legs. Yeah. They're a bit difficult to do, but I mean I already went through the arms. So alright. I think I should do this leg first. I think it's going to go over the other one. Okay. Do this. Okay, make sure it stays thin. This kind of dinosaur is supposed to be more like thin gray style kind of build, because it's supposed to be fast. What are you doing that on? It's supposed to be a compsognathid. So it's a pretty close, supposed to be a close relative of the dino that I recently done for my Dino Fact, yesterday technically. And I already said this earlier, but there's actually part of a pretty big, I guess, theory that fairly recently came out, saying that a good portion of Compsognathids might actually be juveniles of Carcharodontosaurids, which are the really large theropods, who are primarily known from their their kind of shark-like teeth, which is how they got their name, which means shark-tooth lizard. And some people think that these guys are actually supposed to be juveniles of them. It's still debated, but an interesting idea. Personally, I want to say they're distinct dinos, but I don't think I know enough about that particular debate to be sure. I've been active on Twitter for a bit. I see. Well, that's okay. One does need a break every now and then. I say that as I basically never give myself a break, but I mean, for the most part, doing stuff like this is relaxing for me, so it's kind of like a break still. I need to do this. There we go. Let's look now. Alright. So we keep this leg in place and then move this one here. I guess in front of it. There we go. Alright, we need to change up the head over here a tiny bit. There we go. This looks a little awkward, so let's smoothen that out. And there we go. Alright, now for the back of the head plus the tail. Hold on, let me try working with these. Cause I learned about things like distance and delay in one of my last animation streams, and these come quite a bit in handy when it comes to drawing extra long lines. Yeah. You ever heard about the theory why there are mostly small and large dinos with very few species being in the middle? I have heard about that, actually, yeah. Or at least something of this. And from what I know, it's probably because mid-sized dinos, particularly with theropods, would have been outcompeted by juveniles of the larger theropods, like Tyrannosauruses and other theropods like those. Because they would have, at around the same size as them, those juvenile megatheropods would have been hunting for the same food, and well, they would also probably have those much larger parents protecting them from the middle-sized as well. They'd probably be competing for the same food and have much stronger, larger predators acting as bodyguards for them. So eventually they would just outcompete mid-sized theropods, and they just ended up going extinct. I'm pretty sure that is what happened. Something like that happened in Hell Creek, and that's why Tyrannosaurus is really the only fairly large theropod there, except for the one dromaeosaurid called the Codaraptor. But even that, it was only one, and it might have hunted slightly different prey than young Tyrannosauruses, or maybe not, and it was the last fairly large theropod standing off against T-Rex up until the KP/KT extinction event, where all non-avian dinosaurs died out. which actually it's actually kind of believed that Tyrannosaurus might have conquered North America twice. It would have started first with some early Tyrannosaurs using the land bridge between North America and Asia to move to North America, and as they grew larger and larger, they would eventually outcompete the native predators there and become the dominant ones. But then it's believed that also later down the line, because there's closer relatives of T-Rex in Asia than North America, it's believed new Tyrannosaurids would be like a fairly close ancestor to T-Rex, would have then moved to Asia after the first Tyrannosaurids did, and then outcompeted them for survival, and then they would become the new apexes of North America. Knowledge, yep. Basically, we went to North America, we took over the place, defeated all the native theropods, and we kind of built ourselves, and then took North America from us. Maybe the ancestors of T-Rex wanted to see if friendly fire was on. That's a bad joke. But yeah, basically, early Tyrannosaurids, they took over North America, and then other larger Tyrannosaurids from Asia then took it from them. And then that's kind of just how it stayed until, well, meteorite thing happened, and yeah. But still, if you know what early Tyrannosaurids looked like, you'll be pretty amazed at how far my kind came from, and how much we evolved. I guess for starters, probably just look up Guanlong, who's believed to be one of the earliest known Tyrannosaurids. You probably will be shocked how it looks. At first glance, you'd probably imagine it's closer to Dilophosaurus than Tyrannosaurus, but you'd be wrong. Oh, I know that one. I see. I'm trying to think. I just want to ask, what is your general favorite group of dinosaurs? You probably guessed from my ramble just now, and well, it's just me in general. You'd imagine that it's probably Tyrannosaurids, but what kind do you particularly like? The last person I asked this to, they said that they really liked, I guess, they described as Raptorian kind of dinos, so I guess Maniraptorans are specifically what they're talking about. They're like Dromaeosaurids, Microraptorans, those guys in general, but questions about favorites are always hard for me. That is understandable. Then I guess I'll just ask you what is one of your favorites. I guess which one would you want to talk about, I guess, like the most at the moment? Each option always has its own perks and stuff, true. And there's always, every dino does, especially like their families in general, always usually have something very interesting over the others, and they're just all so distinct from each other. And it's one of the cool things about dinosaurs, that they're one of the most diverse groups of animals that have ever existed. Yeah, I guess if you had to choose a specific group to talk about at the moment, who would it probably be? Like, you don't have to give like a specific reasoning behind it. It's just, which one do you just kind of feel like you want to talk about more than the others for some reason? Like maybe Spinosaurus just kind of pop up in your mind all of a sudden, or something like that. I'm so sorry for going off on a tangent there. But yeah. Okay, I like how that head looked. When you do that. Head, and then the skin underneath the neck, well, around the neck and mouth. I think dinosaurs would have really had these, like these kind of gulag pouches that they have, but I think they look kind of interesting to have on. Oh, it's arches. They big and they flat. Well. Never mind. But yeah, arches are pretty cool. They're definitely I'd say one my favorite of the pterosaurs. I had to quadruple check if I wrote the name right. It is a pretty hard name to remember the spelling of. And yeah, starches are pretty interesting, and honestly, I will say specifically, I like how the one specific I starched, probably the most well-known one, Quetzalcoatlus is being portrayed in Jurassic World Dominion. Like the model looks pretty solid, and also from the few clips I've seen of it, it is generally a very terrifying kind of like, got a movie monster-esque kind of feeling to it, while still being like pretty darn accurate to the actual real creatures. And I generally respect the people behind Jurassic World Dominion for doing that. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that they made pterosaurs, I guess, a lot scarier than what most media would depict them as, but something about the way they did it for Quetzalcoatlus, it's just like extra special to me. But like, outside of that, I guess it's just amazing that there was once a creature as large as a giraffe that was able to fly, like just soar majestically through the skies. I remember there was once like a whole lots of debate about whether or not it would actually be able to fly. But I think nowadays it's pretty clear. I remember someone bringing up that hypothesis for some reason when like people were discussing the Jurassic World Dominion Quetzalcoatlus on Twitter. I don't know why they did that. I think it was actually a museum that tweeted that too for some reason. I think it was because the paleontologist that proposed that idea was one that they were working with. So I guess they wanted to support his theory, but I don't know. And I think that was kind of a weird thing, like, really bring out. Yeah, that debate. Why would it have wings at that point? True. I mean, I have no way to, like, I wanted to say, like, the benefit of the doubt. Like, there's no real reason why it would have wings if it couldn't, like, actually fly. But only, my best guess would be that he instead, said that they would instead be capable of only gliding. But, I feel like in that case, they would be smaller, like something kind of like Microraptorans. Like I definitely would not be able to see just about any Astarchid, especially Quetzalcoatlus, climbing up a tree to glide. Gliding off cliffs, maybe. Question how to get on cliff. Perhaps there's a theory out there that Astarchids were expert mountain climbers. But yeah. It's crazy, kind of theories that can sometimes come out of paleontology. Like, I remember Parasaurolophus at one point, people thought might have had, I think, 9 hearts or 8. Specifically because some cardiologists said it would need that many hearts to get blood pumped up the top of its head. You know, there's a much more likely theory of it having a larger heart to be able to do that. And also just quite a few other things, including what I mentioned earlier in stream, Jack Horner's T-Rex 100% scavenger theory. Still definitely not okay with that one. Especially since us T-Rexes were as far as we know, the only large theropods that were there. And there are tons of large herbivores that need a predator to control their population and stuff like that. Like, just generally like how the ecosystems are supposed to work. The schools of raptors are pretty sure none of the Creek Dromaeosaurus could have done that. But then again, I'm pretty sure in the documentary he made about the T-Rex scavenger theory, he did portray raptors being able to fully grown hadrosaurs for some reasons. Maybe he does believe that. But I will say, most people might not know how big an Edmontosaurus or like a Triceratops really is. But I will say there definitely would not have been just their size alone would have definitely not made them off of Raptor's menu. Yes, I know. Now I have a comeback to a person who keeps saying T-Rexes are scavengers. Ah, I see. I can't remember. One scientist, I think his name was Acker, I might be messing up his name. I'm sure he's kind of like rival to Jack Horner. I think Jack Horner actually, he's pretty sure usually the scientific consultant for lots of Jurassic Park movies. I remember I think he made it so that there was this one scientist based off Backer, and he made him get eaten by a T-Rex. But when Backer saw this, I think like he texted something to, I'm not sure how he communicated to Horner, but he said something along the lines of, "See, I told you they were predators." And I just love that comeback that he made there. And I forgot what else I was gonna say, but yeah, that was certainly an interesting theory. Also kind of interesting that he was the scientific consultant and Horner was the scientific consultant, and yet the T-Rexes in that movie did spend up a lot of time performing technically hunting behavior, constantly going after the humans. I mean, I guess you could say it was more territorial. They took the time to eat some of them, which isn't exactly what really territorial animals are supposed to do, so just saying. Well, I mean, like they do eat, but normally when a territorial animal is chasing something out, it's only the intention of trying to drive them away from the territory and not eat them. The fact that the T-Rexes were not constantly, but fairly frequently eating the humans that were theirs does say a lot. It does. But I think that's all I really have to say right now about the whole T-Rex scavenger thingy. And I think for the most part, Jack Horner isn't exactly like trying to bring out that hypothesis anymore. So I think I'll probably try to just kind of leave that one in the past too. But yeah, like I said before, there's been quite a few wacky theories in paleontology out there. Now, I'm trying to think of I'm trying to both focus on the animation, but also think of a new paleontology theory to think about. Can't think of any other kind of more wild ones out there. Actually, I think I think one. I don't know too much about it. I think at one point Compsognathus recently did a dino fact on. I think at one point it was believed to have had flippers or like fins on its arms. I don't know too much about what that was about, but that's an interesting one. One I'll probably have to look further into. Actually, hold on. Actually, now that I think about it, there actually is a really infamous, not quite a theory, but kind of a theory, but just like a weird idea from an old book. An idea of fire-breathing Parasaurolophus. That was once a thing that people considered. That I think, I forgot who it was, but someone thought that its crest, Parasaurolophus's crest, could like store gases that it would use, like it would spray out like the bombardier beetle, and just breathe. It would actually be able to breathe fire on other dinos. Heard that one get mentioned once. Yeah, I mean, it's a silly idea. I'm pretty sure it's safe to say it's not scientifically accurate, but it's a fun little paleo meme, I guess, that gets thrown around every now and then. There's also that one paleo meme, I guess, of from Saurian of Montana Spinus. Get roasted, Paris. I've seen that one get mentioned but once. Get roasted, Parasaurolophus said. Quite literally. Mainly to a Ceratosaurus, if I remember what the old picture looked like. Which definitely did not live at the same time as Parasaurolophus. There's quite a few other things that the person that made that book probably should have done a little research on. And also back to what I mentioned just now about Montana Spinus. I think it basically just sprouted from people wanting to be able to play a Spinosaurus in Saurian, but because it's based on Hell's Creek, the Hell Creek Formation, and there's no Spinosaurus there, I think the developer said, well, it obviously wouldn't make sense. But then people brought up the idea that they could just have like a made-up Spinosaurid found in Hell Creek, and then Montana Spinus was born from that. I think. I don't know the full details. But it was a pretty big paleo meme back in the day. Right alongside Mammoth Cube. Remember that one. Alright. Allowed me? I want to make a new frame. Right, there we go. Alright. Ready? Again? Trying to think of, I guess, more stuff from, like, this bizarre stuff from that the paleo community talks about sometimes. I can't think of anything else. I guess I just want to talk about maybe. I can't think of anything else, so I guess I just want to talk about Spinosaurus. How it's wacky, some of it's. How much has changed the past several years that we've known it. I remember I saw pictures of it back before other Spinosaurids were found, like Baryonyx and Suchomimus, but it's pretty much just portrayed as like a T-Rex with a sail on its back. Like, it didn't even have like the long crocodile like snout that we're all familiar with nowadays. It was just kind of given the standard theropod kind of head. And then in the early 2000s, we would get things like the Jurassic Park Spinosaurus, which is essentially kind of like a Baryonyx with a sail on its back. And then later down the line, back in, I'd say like 2014, we got that pretty wild theory of Spinosaurus being a quadruped. I've still seen a few people nowadays argue that it is a possibility. I'm personally still on the side of it's a bipedal creature. So, I mean, I guess I won't be too mad exactly if I turn out to be wrong later. And then after that, there's also things added, like usually nowadays it's portrayed as like a small head crest sometimes. That's what other Spinosaurs have had. Other times I see it without it. And personally, I think I prefer it without the head crest, but I don't really know for sure whether or not it had one. And it's also based on pictures of the sail, at least. There's also been debate whether or not it had a small dip on the sail, or if it was just like a perfect semicircle, like it's shown in most media. I personally, actually kind of like how the little dip in the sail looks. I think it feels a bit more natural than just like a perfect semicircle on its back. And then there's the tail discussion. Yep. Yeah, like I think around last year, there's the newest idea that it would have had a large, fin-like kind of tadpole-like tail, which actually, before I was a bit iffy on, but I got around to it a lot quicker than most other hypotheses and most other, I guess, theories about Spinosaurus. And nowadays I kind of like how it looks, but prefer it over the standard theropod tail. And I forgot what else I was gonna say. But I also kind of don't mind that it has short legs now, based on what we think. Like, I did think it was a bit weird at first to see a Spinosaurus with legs so short, but it works. And I think the tail might have also helped them make it look a little bit bigger than it actually did. So whenever I look at it in paleo artists, it's still pretty much the megatheropod that I remember. It's just a little bit more of the height is actually coming from the tail than the legs, like how it was in my childhood. But I don't mind. It kind of feels like a vertically squashed crocodile with a tail, with a sail. I guess that pretty much is this. Well, I guess bipedal crocodile. If it's vertically squashed normal crocodile, then I think it would just kind of be the crocodile from that one, like Flat Friday meme. I'll say that. I don't know the story behind that, but I just think that for some reason extra flat crocodile, I think it looks kind of adorable. I don't know why. I guess it kind of... I'm not sure, but I feel like it kind of reminds me of like some dogs. Like how they just kind of like sometimes like lie down just flat on it. Yeah, I'm bad at describing it. Wait, are you making another dino intro? No, actually, I'm just trying to make like my own standalone kind of dinosaur animation, because I just want to... I don't know how to describe it, but I missed kind of like how I was the process of making the opening for my stream, and I wanted to try going back into like the world of animation. Plus, part of me actually wants to see if like in due time when my art style gets a better, if I could make my own, I guess, a few animated shorts based on me growing up as a adolescent T-Rex and up until the KT extinction event, and then like explaining how I got my human-like body and stuff like that. Because I've seen other VTubers make animations for their lore, and I thought it'd be cool if I could try doing the same too. And possibly taking some inspiration from Dead Sound's Soria series on YouTube. So I think I might end up going a little more fantastical with it. I mean, understandably, I'm a T-Rex with a human body, so can't expect everything to be scientifically accurate. So I think I might try to take a few creative liberties and maybe make my dinos, especially the T-Rexes, maybe act a bit more human-like, like living in close family groups, caring for each other. But I would also like to keep like some levels of scientific accuracy. Like they aren't going to show like empathy towards their prey animals. Like they're still going to follow some level of instinct. Like they need to hunt. They aren't going to feel empathy for their prey, regardless if it's a baby or not. Yes, survival instincts tells them that they need to eat. and things like that. You think I'm going to try and end up making a web short? I'll probably end up making them a little more, I guess, them more human. One might think. Alright, 1 a.m. reached. Time for me to sleep. Alright. Alright, well, I hope you sleep well. Thank you for stopping by the stream. Thank you for chatting with me about dinos today, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you for stopping by. For Hankai's question, what do you animate on? I animate on Krita, which is also the art program that I use to make all the edits for my adventures on Twitter. I hope you have a delightful day too. Thank you. Alright, so... Oh, epic, yep. I will say Krita does have a few issues every now and then, but right, it's a pretty good art program, especially considering it's free, and if anyone wants to get more into art, I might recommend it. Of course, if you want to do like adventures and like image edit like I do, I mean, it's more well known for it, so I'd assume Photoshop might be better at it. So, from my experience with Photoshop plus Krita, they're not too different from one another. Like, I think just about anything you can make, as far as I know, just about anything you can make on Photoshop, you could also probably make on Krita as well. But yeah. Alright. Keep it going. I never heard of the one you use. I'll probably go check it out. We'll go ahead. And if you do choose to use it, I hope you have fun with it. Alright, let's see. This looks a bit awkward, so whenever you do that, now for a little skin flap down here too. Alright. I'm trying to think of more stuff to talk about, because I think I haven't said too much in a while. I'm trying to think of more dino stuff to talk about. I guess the first thing that's come to mind is the new paper that came out recently regarding T-Rex. About how now Tyrannosaurus is being split into it's being split into 3 different not genuses, different species. Specifically, we're keeping T-Rex, We're also getting T. Imperator and then T. Regina. Basically, we're gonna have the Tyrant Lizard King, Tyrant Lizard Emperor, and then Tyrant Lizard Queen. I feel like a lot of people, including myself, are a bit skeptical about the new paper, but I mean, if it does come to pass, I don't mind the idea of new Tyrannosaurus species. But I feel like regardless, there's gotta be more evidence for it. And also, I will probably be a bit sad if the name T-Rex specimen like Sue turns out to be one of this new species, the new species. Because I mean, Sue's always been regarded as like one of the largest, most well-known T-Rex specimens, so I feel like it'd be kind of a hard blow if it turned out to not actually be a T-Rex at all. I guess probably the same thing for, possibly also the same thing for Scotty as well, who is now currently the largest T-Rex skeleton. I'm pretty sure Sue is still at least second. And she's still more complete than Scotty is. Here's another fun fact about them. Despite the fact that some dinosaur T-Rex specimens like Sue and Scotty, they all have, I guess, names that you could consider to be more feminine or effeminate. We actually don't know any of their genders currently. Sue in particular, I'm pretty sure is only named that after the paleontologist that found hers. Well, that found it. So as far as we know, Sue could be either male or female as far as we know. I mean, usually I will just typically just refer to her as female because it's kind of the first thing that comes to mind, but technically we don't know for sure. And now I'm trying to think of something else dino related to talk about. I'm trying to think of more T-Rex stuff specifically. I guess one thing, T-Rexes, they were a lot different as babies than they are as adults. Specifically, they would have been a lot more, I guess, thinner, had longer legs that would have been better at running than the adult ones are. And they would have hunted different prey as a result. But as soon as they reached like around teenage age, they would have undergone a large growth spurt, and eventually becoming the larger, kind of more bulkier T-Rexes that people are more familiar with. That's interesting. I guess that's something interesting. And it's probably the case with other theropods too, with babies starting off, they're adults, and over time becoming the large, massive mega theropods that more people are familiar with. And it's probably for this reason that people are thinking that Compsognathus ids, some of them might actually be Carcharodontosaur babies. So again, it's still kind of up in the air. With this information in mind, I guess it's a bit more plausible now. but we still need a lot more evidence before we can really confirm anything. And even though I'm glad that thanks to spring break I don't have to worry about the time limits really, like for study rooms or anything, because I'm just doing it in my bedroom, but I feel like I should have to stop now because I am getting a little bit tired, plus I do want to give myself as much time as possible to get through the rest of the replies for the last adventure before I get the new one out around 11. Plus I do need to eat dinner, so I think I'll end things here, but first I'm going to find someone to raid. Alright. Okay. I found Aya Swift Thief, a Velociraptor VTuber who's streaming Apex right now. Okay, yep. Alright, so I'm gonna put in the command to raid now. Just want to say thank you to everyone who stopped by and stuck around with me for roughly 3 hours and 20 minutes worth of the dino trying to animate, and also chatting about dinos. And I hope to see you all next time when we work more on this animation, and also some of my other streams this week, like Genshin Impact, the return of Fossil Fighters Champions after last year when I thought it was going to be the finale, and also I believe the watch along for Land Before Time on Saturday, and also some of my other streams where we can just chat, play games, draw together, just have a jolly good time and be buddies. But until then, we all have a good rest of your day, take care, and see you all later. Bye. And it was fun chilling with you, Honkai, and everyone else as well. Alright, bye bye everyone, and take care.